welcome back to Cast Me to Hell with me, Seb.
And me, Robbie.
And here we are with our recommended sorority slashers. Now, that is basically us picking. We've decided on a top three each, basically, haven't we?
Yeah.
A top three. I did say top three is questionable because it depends how much we actually love these films, but we're recommending them, so we must like them at least.
It's a great way to start the episode.
It is. I'm just picking it up.
Like.
We might like, maybe, yeah. You know, thrown together last minute.
Yeah.
These are sorority slashers as we are about to begin our summer sorority slasher season. Because it is summer, and therefore we always hit up a slasher season around summertime. So this is us picking a sorority or kind of college academic kind of themed kind of film where that's the main kind of setting or main link within the horror film of them being either in a sorority house or frat house or staying in a dorm house, or it might just be that has a major plot point of the story that is there. So we've picked a range of horrors in order to bring you an interesting little list into these little sorority. Not necessarily. We'll see where we go with this. It might just be like the slocky kind of 80s. We might just give you 6 slocky 80s films to go and check out. You can check out Massacre 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. We'll just give you one franchise and that's all we're going to give you. So it was interesting because we talked about this one beforehand because we were like, are we going to basically just talk about the same films? Because although there is a vast range of films with sorority, whether there's a vast range of ones that you'd recommend was a bigger question in my head. Like, you might go to certain ones. There are popular ones that could have crossed over, but when we do these lists, we don't always tend to go for the most popular ones. We try to go for ones that are different. I'm not saying you're not going to, but I'm saying we do tend to sometimes jump away from the most obvious choices and go like, no, this is a little gem that you might not have known about or something like that. Or you might have had no clue and just gone for those. I'm picking apart what Rob might do now.
Yes, I think I've gone for some that are, I want to say new, but they're not entirely new. When I say new, I mean not 80s. So, because straight off the bat, I think all of the films that we've got coming for you over this kind of slasher summer are 80s films. Very popular with, he's all right. Kind of very popular with the golden age of slashers was this kind of sorority vibe. So we've got a couple of those for you for the 80s. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave us a lovely review. And I'm actually going to kick us off with my first one, which is a film that I actually got around to rewatching when I had this feature in mind. And it was a film that I'm quite fond of. And I watched it for the first time shortly after it came out. And that is Sorority Row. Yes. The remake of House on Sorority Row. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We will be covering next week to kickstart the season off. Have you seen the remake?
I saw this. I think I saw it in cinemas.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
okay.
I think I saw it in the. Would that make sense? Did I see it?
Probably
yes,
makes sense,
yes, I did see it in cinema. Yeah, I did. So that's the only time I've ever seen it.
Yeah, okay.
And I remember thinking it was alright, but not amazing at the time. But I haven't revisited since. So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of it's fun. It's got some really cool kills in it. Comparing it to the film that we are going to cover next week, which is the original, it's very interesting to watch it. It does take it in its own way. Yeah. I think like most of the kind of the best remakes do, similar when we did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake recently, it takes the general crux of the story, which is the prank gone wrong, and it turns it into its own direction and does a bit more of a whodunit. Yeah. As opposed to what we get in the original, which is, we're going to discuss that next week.
I'd never seen the original, so obviously we're going to discuss that next week, but I do remember thinking of what I could remember of the remake. I was like, oh, this does not feel familiar at all, kind of thing of what's going on here, apart from maybe a prank gone wrong.
Yeah, I was very much the same. I watched Sorority Row first, and it is a bit grander in its stakes and in its set pieces, but that's to be expected with one, it being a remake, two, it being from the kind of 2000s.
Yeah, 2009 I think.
I think it's 2009. that kind of off the back of Scream,
Yeah.
the resurgence of slasher films. And it's just a great gem. I think it's got some funny characters in it. It's got some good bits of dark humour. It does have some similarities to the original, which I'll touch on next week. But it is its own film. And I just think it's a real good time. And it's a good film to kick off our list.
I was going to rewatch it, to be fair, after I watched House on Sorority Row. Which, to be fair, for some reason, I didn't actually think of being I was watching House on Sorority Row because we were going to do it, and then I was like, I wonder if they made a remake of this. And I was like, oh, Sorority Row, yeah, that makes sense. They've just cut out the title off of that. But I was going to rewatch it, but then I decided to watch something I haven't seen before instead of revisiting it. But I probably will before next week, so I can join your discussion with that. Mainly all I remember is there a bit that involves like a massive fire? In the middle of the thing where there's like a whole like slashery battle going on in the middle of the fire. That is one bit that I just remember. Like I don't really remember much about the film. That was the thing. I just remembered it being like obviously a bunch of girls of the time, so very different in style, attitude. You got mobile phones and all that kind of that kind of approach to it. Yeah,
Carrie Fisher's in she's the Miss Slater in it.
Yes.
And it's a bit more modern day, a bit more kind of badass women. As opposed to the original. It's worth watching, and I know you said
I will check it out.
Yeah, you've got to check it out before we record our next episode.
Yes.
We'll come back to that.
Yes, before we record our next episode. Yeah. I'm saying that like I'm going to have seen it. I won't. But that's not how the magic of this works. I'll just make it up. I'll just Wikipedia.
Yeah. That's the best way of doing it these days.
That's how everything's created now.
Don't even watch films. Just imagine them.
I haven't watched a single film we've done on this podcast. I don't even like horror films.
No. You're just doing this so I'm
generally
not
quite squeamish.
Yes.
One-sided blood and I'm out. So I'm just Rob just had no one else to do it with.
That's it. You just
I've just made it up for what has it been, 6 years?
I think something like that. 5
years. 6 years. I just made it up. Okay, so my first one I'm going to go with. I tried to go with quite vastly different ones.
Okay.
So I'm going to start probably because to link with what you are and something that is kind of yours was a remake of one we've got coming up. I've got one of mine is one of the films that we've got coming up because I poorly managed and forgot we were doing this film. So I thought I was watching something completely like, this one's not on the list. Yeah, we are doing this one is coming up. So I'm giving away spoilers for the future. But Sorority House Massacre.
Okay.
Is the next one. So
nice.
Sorority House Massacre. So I'd never seen this before. Have you seen Sorority House Massacre?
No, I haven't.
No. So I'm not going to go too much into it because we are going to cover it in a kind of a future one. But to kind of link off from that one, so you'll get to hear our thoughts a little bit more in depth in a couple of weeks when we release that one. But Sorority House Massacre is. I watched it after having watched House on Sorority Row. I thought I'll give another one of these a go. Let's have another one to kind of think about. It's not it's not got the whole. Obviously, it's not exactly the same film. It was before, so it was slightly different in that it had some things going for it. But it's quite a short film. It's only about an hour and 14 minutes long, so it's quite short and tight. But one thing I do really enjoy about, and again, I'll go in more when we go into the episode, is this one involves, it's odd, it feels like a weird mix of Halloween that has elements of like kind of the dream, kind of like focuses a little bit of like Nightmare on Elm Street. It feels like it's robbed from a lot of different like horrors of the time. There's a lot of shots and stuff like that. But there is something I really love about it, which is the fact that it's not like a random masked killer. It's actually a very kind of, it's basically a man who is just hunting after them. I'm not going to say why the reasons are. We'll go more into that in our episode. You haven't watched it yet, so I don't want to go into why or the deeper reasons of those. But what I liked was that there was something that felt oddly like, although it's, like any of them, it's got its cheesy nature to it. It's got parts of that. It's got a montage. Like a dressing up montage in it.
Who doesn't enjoy dressing up montage?
It is weirdly this is one of those franchises that's actually purely directed and written by women. by a woman, Carol Frank, who did it. So it's a different perspective, but yeah, so you've got like an 80s montage in there, but it's also, because it's a horror slasher sorority film, it's an 80s montage, except, you know, like in Pretty Woman and stuff like that, when she comes out in dresses. Well, in this one, you just get flashes of tits in between every single one, you know, so, you know, something for you to recommend there if you enjoy breasts.
Which a large chunk of the population does.
I'm sure they do. You know, many people do. But there is something what I'd recommend about this part is that although I felt it has maybe a little bit of a slow start, it has the killer element of it. I actually found linked quite more to feeling a little bit more weirdly in a film that has elements of, like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street or possible telepathic based things in it. I'm making this all over the place for you.
Yeah, you are.
To see how you see this. But weirdly, the killer part of it felt quite more grounded and more, you know, the kills are not necessarily anything fancy, but it felt oddly like you're watching something that's more about an actual serial killer, like a real life killer in a way. It had that element to me, which I thought, actually, I found this quite refreshing that I'm not watching another 80s film that's trying to copy 80s films and how do we come up with a costume for this guy? You know?
Yeah, what's the costume?
Yeah, it's basically if Michael Myers decided not to wear the mask. It's basically that, I'd say. Yeah, what it is. It's a bit of that. To give you many little hints there without giving away much of that. But, you know, as I said, it is short. It's not doing anything necessarily that special with it kind of thing. But there was something I did very much enjoy about it. I'm not sure whether I liked it more than House on Sorority Row, but I didn't, you know, it's kind of around about the same for different reasons, but at least they didn't feel exactly like the exact same sorority film. There was a different story element here. It had a bit of weirdness to it, which I kind of liked, you know.
Well, I think that's what we've done with the films, just to kind of get you to subscribe and stick around for it, is when we were looking at the films to pick for them, we chose the general theme of the sorority house, but then tried to look at different ones. So I think that the final film that we're covering also features a sorority, but has like a twist on it. It's not just man killing young women. It's one that I'm interested to check out. I always was getting it confused with Slumber Party Massacre. I don't know if you've seen that. That's the guy with the drill.
Yes, so I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So I enjoyed that. I remember enjoying that one as a little kind of. I'm guessing that's not on your list either. So
no.
But I remember enjoying that one. I guess that's because it's a slumber party and not a sorority party.
Yeah. Next year when we do the slumber parties,
summer slumber parties,
it'll be even more narrow.
That's it. Yeah, because we'll be having a little slumber party while we sit there the whole time.
Yeah.
Although I already made a mistake there because I mixed them up. I meant this one came after House on Sorority Row, so I was worried it was going to feel very similar to House on Sorority.
Yeah.
I said it came first. It didn't come first. It's the wrong way around there. But well, I've already said that I forgot that this film even existed on our list anyway. So you just did a whole talk about how much we planned this out, and then there's me going, I forgot what we were even doing. So
yes.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
I have a small child at home.
Yeah, well, you have two small children.
Yeah, but one is very little, so my brain isn't working fully yet. I've just finished for my summer holidays as a teacher, so my brain is I'm not really rested up enough yet. My batteries are not recharged enough.
Yeah.
So my brain is just rotting still.
Yeah. I think since the start of the podcast, it's just been slowly a general decline in your function.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Right, your next recommendation.
Now, my second recommendation is a film that we've covered. We covered it a little while ago, and it's another 2000s classic. And it was a bit earlier, and it was riding the wave a bit closer to Scream. So you had stuff like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then Valentine, which I think is.
I didn't even think of Valentine when it came on that, which is weird because it obviously has a major college and their sorority vibes and stuff like that. Yeah, interesting. I love Valentine.
I think, well, we did a whole episode where we spoke about it. Yeah. I believe the director died recently.
Ah.
Yeah.
Are you sure? You told me a minute. You told me before the podcast that Clint Howard had died. And Clint Howard's alive and well.
Yeah, but I said I think he's died. I didn't confirm his death.
You look after yourself, King.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I'm sure that I heard that he passed away.
There you go. We'll now do that. But Valentine. I remember watching it when I was a kid. When it was really, I'm pretty sure it was one of my video rentals. When I basically rewatch it multiple times for like a week that we've rented it for or whatever. And I very much remember loving this film.
I think it's
cheesy.
It's cheesy. It's fun, but it also has some good moments of tension. It's got some good gore without kind of leaning into the kind of gratuitous violence of some films can have. It straddles that 15 line very well. Some classic early 2000s heartthrobs. So for the men, you've got, Denise Richards.
Yeah.
Beautiful woman. Absolutely great. For the ladies, you've got David Boreanaz.
Yeah. Mr. David Boreanaz.
I think the women have it better. The women and the homosexuals have it better there. Because David Boreanaz is just a timeless stud. I don't know if he did much else after Angel. Let's be honest, you don't need to.
I think he's worked consistently in TV for like most of his career.
He has, but he'll always be typecast.
He'll always be Angel.
And he'll always be Angel to me. He'll always be, brooding, long leather jacket, spiked hair. He's a great chap, and it's a really fun film. It follows in the Who Done It. I feel like with the early 80s,
a lot of early 2000s,
with the golden age of slashers,
following Scream basically.
The golden age of slashers did a lot of. This is a escaped mental patient who's doing it.
Yeah,
and it was always very much the film that's come to mind for some reason is Prom Night, which is a strangely disco slasher, and it's very much like escaped mental patient. Prank went wrong, and this person has, he's come back.
You're pretty much naming most sorority slasher films.
Pretty much.
It's normally an escaped mental patient, or it's a prank gone wrong.
It is, and I think this one is a prank gone wrong, but it's a historical prank gone wrong. It feels like it's got a bit more to it than those kind of early slashers. There are a bit more characters who have come into it with strange backgrounds you don't know about. Who is the killer? Who isn't? And I just think it's a really fun kill.
It's got some really fun. It's got some really fun inventive kills in there. It's also just generally the film. I think the characters are actually quite a lot of fun. There's some actual interesting characters in there. There are the standard archetype kind of like you're going to be dead in a minute kind of people.
Particularly with the sorority house theme, you've got I think Denise Richards is the kind of fairy bitchy character.
Yeah.
They all seem to have there's always a slightly neurotic character. There's always one who, and this is going to sound odd, but they're always like, you used to be fat, and now you're a hot girl. So your whole thing is like, we're going to tease you that you're still fat. And that has a great turnout in this, which is...
And you've got I remember, I think when we did it, because I always forget the cherub was the mask.
Yes.
For some reason, but I always remember the bleeding nose.
Yes.
So that's nose. Like a little kind of part in the film kind of thing. But I really love Valentine. I think is a much underrated little classic. I think of the 2000s era when obviously there was a lot of crap that came out. They started to come more and more where they dragged that to death of the whole who did it, who done it.
But that's
went to that point. Yeah, they always do. Someone comes up with certain things, before you know it, you'll have films that are basically Obsession or whatever. Or Backroom, they will flog that shit until it is dead.
They will they love flogging. That's what Hollywood do.
They have strapped someone like Curry Barker. He's been strapped up and basically been forced to come up with ideas in Hollywood until he's dead.
They've just got to, they've got to go, all right, and what we want you to do the next 4.
Yes.
You have to do it.
Plan out and direct. We want them directed this week. It's like porn.
It literally is. It literally is. But that's my second one.
Okay, your second one. So, I mean, yours are moving almost further.
They are.
Well, I guess not. I guess you went 2009 and then earlier 2000s. But yours are kind of moving away from thing, whereas mine are doing the opposite. Mine are going from where most of ours are probably 80s, and my last one obviously was mid 80s, and now I'm going back to 1982.
Okay.
And I'm going foreign with this one. It's called, It's a Spanish horror called Pieces.
I've always heard of Pieces, but I've never gotten around to watching it.
So Pieces, or here you go, Mil Gritos Tien la Noche, or The Night Has a Thousand Screams,
beautiful pronunciation. That won't annoy any of our Spanish.
It won't at all. No, that was perfect pronunciation.
Yes,
don't even try to fight me.
Don't even try.
It's a 1982 slasher film by again John Picure Simon. I don't know.
Perfect pronunciation.
Written. So it's it was a Spanish American mix kind of one.
Yeah.
So, like a lot of the Italian horror that we enjoy, where you've got a little bit of maybe distribution on both sides or things like that.
Yeah,
you've got a dubbed Spanish film. I did watch this in dubbed version, but I did notice that if you watched it in the Spanish version, that the soundtrack remained, whereas the dubbed version, the soundtrack seemed to disappear parts of it. Okay. So So if you wanted to be a purist, you would go back and watch it probably in full Spanish with subtitles kind of thing if you're being that purist for that. But this one's interesting. I won't go into the mass majority of some of the twists and turns of it, but this one definitely played on the idea off of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, yeah. I've seen the front cover's got like a similar looking Hanson chainsaw on it. Yeah, the classic yellow bodied. I'm sure I've seen it. Yeah.
They've sold it. It was definitely sold. Like I believe they even used Texas Chainsaw Massacre on the poster for it. Not as that one, like not for the Spanish one, but I think for one of the revival of those it had. You don't have to go to Texas for a Chainsaw Massacre.
I've heard that as well. Yeah.
So you've got interesting themes of those, but no, I'd never seen this one, so I was trying to find something. I was like, I want to watch something, and I want to find something that is not maybe what not my standard thing. So it does take place. It takes place on someone who is targeting a college campus, and it has a sorority kind of as part of that. So it is within the plot of the whole college one, but it's one of the most interesting parts to kind of give part of the opening of the film away is we basically open the film with a boy who's doing a puzzle, who's basically singing, couldn't put him back together again. And he's putting together, and then we realise that he's actually putting together like a naked lady puzzle. So it is a young boy putting together a puzzle of a naked lady.
Provocative.
And his mother comes in and basically like beats the crap out of him because he's like, "What are you doing? Like, you little pervert!" Basically, then goes around room, like beats her, throws him in to the side, and then starts to go around and tells him that his father's an absolute dog as well, and like starts looking around his rooms like, where's this magazines and stuff like that. You've got dirty, where's that dirty porn at, boy?
Yeah.
So we get, as with many foreign of that time, you've always got a childhood trauma and a childhood backpack, a history to begin with most of the time, where here we are, here is our childhood trauma, here is our mummy issues, here are those,
Yeah, if you're not in one of these kind of Euro horror films, as a child watching your mother get fucked and then murdered by your dad, or your dad get fucked and murdered.
I mean, I was full on I was, because this was Euro and it started with the mother and the things like that. Part of me was like, okay, so where are we going with this? We have a mother who's a large-breasted mother, things like that. She looks quite nice, to be honest. So you're like there, like, I don't know what way this is going. This could either be, it's either going killing, or it's going to be some weird sequence where we're going to watch mum get ploughed by someone else who's coming to the house and boy watching from the thing. Or it could even be the boy ploughing the mum. I don't know. They go in some weird places, these. But it doesn't. It goes with the axe to mumma. Mummy gets
axed.
But it's quite cool because he's continuing to sing the song. We have Mummy kind of, and we even get scenes of how he basically like saws her up and things like that. So it's quite cool, and we get the people, like someone's trying to get into the house, and we get the police, and this is all just the backstory before we get, and then some of the set pieces that come later in the film when we get to grown up and it's about college campus and the people that are kind of like a dislike of those kind of parts. But one of the coolest parts of this is pieces, is because it's making a puzzle out of the bodies. So putting the bodies to pieces, to pieces, but putting the bodies together as if trying to make the perfect, kind of one.
As if trying to make Mummy.
Yes. Yeah. Trying to make that kind of perfect piece kind of thing. We have little boxes of Mummy's clothing and stuff like that. So it's got some interesting parts. It's got a lot of like again, I'm just going to stick to the earlier part and not give more of the later stuff away, but it's got ones like a girl's like lying on the grass and complaining about the noise of someone making chainsaw, making the chainsaw go off, and he's like, "Are you going to be done soon?" And then he kind of comes down and basically just like lops her head off, kind of thing. But it is kind of like you see the chainsaw go down, and then you see basically blood splatter in the air, and then you see the body on the ground with a head missing, kind of thing, with blood squirting out of it in very loud. So some of them are not. I'd say some of the parts, the only one thing is the prosthetics maybe of it are not like full on detailed where you're seeing it fully like going in, kind of. Even Mummy getting axed is kind of like just more looks like someone whacking on her head and just splatting blood onto her more than it is like, well, if you get an axe to the head, I'm pretty sure the axe is going in your head. But it doesn't quite look like that.
No.
But it's quite playful, and I like the idea of it, and I just enjoyed, it's just something about, European or horror and stuff like that. There's just a something that feels a bit different about it. There's a bit of playfulness to it. There's always a sexual undercurrent of it, in a weird, twisted way. Right? Yeah, in a fucked up way that we are. Yeah. But yeah, it's a fun little watch, and I'd suggest people give it a go. I can definitely imagine that you would have a good time with it.
Well, I think it may be a video nasty. I think
it may. Yeah, it's 1982, so it would have fallen within video nasty territory.
It would have.
I believe it was banned. I think it was banned, so we can come round and do a full-on episode on pieces.
Who knows? Maybe one day soon we may go back to video nasties.
There you go. We may come back round to that one soon.
Well, be sure to subscribe to get them when they're out. So I'll end it with my final one, and I'm going to bring it into. I was about to say a bit more modern. But I think this film is coming up to like 10 years old. But it's the most modern one on my list. And it's a film that I've watched a few times. It's super fun, and it is Happy Death Day.
Yes, I considered this one.
I think it's a fantastic film in terms of the way in which they've combined something a bit like Friday the 13th or Scream, but with Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
It's a great premise. This woman who gets killed effectively by a masked killer and then wakes up in the morning and has to relive the day trying to figure out who's killing her, why they're killing her. It's got some great kind of black humour in it, with similar to Groundhog Day, where he realises like, well, I fucked this day up, I'm just going to kill myself. She does stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's got some good moments and some tense moments where maybe they figure out, a way to try and stop this loop.
Yeah.
And then it goes wrong. They die. It's got some good fun moments.
Killing them.
Finding out who's killing
like
them.
Dying just to find out another piece of the clue, kind of thing.
Yeah. And you've got to try and piece it together. Of course, with the film like it, you've got developing relationships.
Yeah.
And stakes kind of get upped a little bit. Other people come into it. It's just a really solid film.
It's got some good element. One element I like of the way that it twists on those parts of the repeating is the fact that it actually starts to take an effect.
Yeah,
is one like part that's quite clever in it, that you start to see that actually it's not like an infinite loop and it's not unpainful.
Yes.
Like in this thing, you're still like dying and you're still having to let yourself die to the point of that. Is really clever. I mean, it's Christopher Landon, isn't it?
Christopher Landon,
who's done quite a few. He's good at because obviously he did Freaky as well.
Yeah, he's doing the Final Girl Support Group.
Yes,
Grady Hendrix adaptation. I've heard just earlier today that that's what he's doing.
Yeah, and he went through for some shit because he was meant to do Scream 7, so that was crap for him.
Yeah,
he would have been a pretty good. He has the right tone for that. He would have been good with Scream if he'd done it. Yeah, he has the right tone for that kind of thing. But I think He's good at kind of ones that are, these aren't like full blown, like as in like horror over the top. He's good at balancing kind of like a comedic tone with enough horror that you don't feel shortchanged, but you still feel, because Happy Death Day is not necessarily gory.
No,
it's quite like, Happy Death Day is probably one of those ones that would be like I have no idea. We did this once upon a time. We might have said this on it. A beginner horror. It would be a perfect introduction to the ideas of horror without it being full on like, oh my god, that's disgusting. That body like gets ripped apart. So it's not got those elements to it. It's just got small elements of horror. It's a good introduction into slashers in general, to be honest.
Definitely, it straddles that 15 again.
Yeah,
some films, like, you know, for some reason I keep coming back to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003, and a lot of the musty horrors we did last season. Like, I think Saw's a great film with the twist, especially if you watch it the first time. I think Hostel's a great film. We spoke about Brain Dead, and we would split about that.
Yeah.
But those films feel as if you were trying to kind of introduce someone to horror, then they might be like too much, too gratuitous. Whereas the kills in both Happy Death Day and Freaky, I remember us actually watching Freaky, and in the opening being like, oh, actually, some of these kills are quite risque for a 15.
Yeah.
Really earning it, and just balancing stuff like tension and dread with terror, and character as well, and just some good kind of humour. Which is hard to do. We spoke about with our parody season where we did the Final Girls. We spoke about how we kind of struggled with that balance there, how they kind of didn't find it right either way. I think Christopher Landon does a great job with Happy Death Day, and I'll be pleased to see him do, you know, the Final Girl support group. I think he's quite well matched to Grady Hendrix. But that is my final one. I shall hand over to you to send us home.
That is your final one. So I am, as I said, I'm going the opposite way. I've gone for one that's completely, which I watched today, and I'm going back to what is almost seen as almost an original, one of the first elements of what could then one day become a slasher film. But it's not necessarily fully a slasher film, but it involves a sorority, and it's called 13 Women.
Oh no, I thought it would go Black Christmas.
Oh no, not Black. This is from 1932.
What?
This is proper old school cinema, man.
Yeah, you have.
I have gone right back to the earlier days of cinema.
And now this is up to the audience to decide whether Seb has kind of gone pretentious with this, or whether I've gone mainstream loser by doing very popular films. You know?
There you go. I've gone, yes. Yeah. I've gone. Well, I did. So I saw this film. I had never heard of this film before. No. So I basically was researching like lists of, you know, college sorority horror stuff like that. And then this one popped up, and I'd never heard of it. And I definitely didn't expect to see anything from 1930s when it came to sorority or slasher kind of films. This is called 13 Women. It's based on a book by Tiffany Fayers, which apparently goes a little bit like deeper into some of the themes than the film does. But the film is a pretty tight. That's why I was able to watch it quickly today. It's 59 minutes long. It's a short little one, but it actually does a really good job. But it's very, to be honest, I read about it and I was like, oh, this will probably be late, but it probably won't match up to what I'd think of it or things like this. But it's actually got some really, the themes of this linking to what would become a slasher thing, and especially female driven, because obviously most of these are, whether they are good or not, this one's probably on the better side of being like female driven, as in it's actually more about females and has conversations than some of the 80s ones, which are more about showing their tits.
Yeah, I imagine the equivalent in 1932 would have been the ankle.
Yes, so they're flashing them ankles.
There's lots of ankle in this film. You know, these bloody whores, they're based on smut.
Women can't have a conversation in a room together.
Yeah, what are they doing?
Yes, and also we recently did all of the monster movies. There is no man who walks into a room and says, "I own you."
Yeah, and also this.
That that doesn't happen in this 1932 film. So there you go.
No.
Again, ahead of its time before those kind of parts. In fact, men are the bitches in this film.
Yeah. And it fails the Bechdel test, which is good. You
Yeah.
know, because no women should be having a conversation that isn't about a man. It's
Well,
the 1930s.
In the 1940s, but this one actually does a good job of that, even though it's got some racial stuff that obviously it's 1932.
I can't imagine what.
Yeah.
Is it American as well?
Yes, it's American. RKO. So
Yeah.
it's not fully, but it's not like what is it, Breakfast at Tiffany's with the Chinese guy that's played by Andy Rooney or Mickey Rooney. I mean,
yeah. But I'm just imagining it being like not even a point.
No.
Not even a plot point.
This is more like kind of what they had with The Mummy, where they had someone who's meant to be interracial, but you were like, you're not interracial. They've just given you, they've almost done your makeup with pointy lines at the side and said that's racial.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But anyway, I'll get to that as well. So the interesting one about this one is one for 1932. This actually involves the idea of how you could basically manipulate someone into suicide. So, which was a theme I was like, I didn't expect to see from a story that was told in 1932. I don't know why, but it just didn't seem like something that popped up.
Definitely.
So basically, it's the idea of this group of 13 women who were all part of a sorority back in there, or 12 women and the extra one. That made it sound worse than I meant to do.
Yeah, the extra one.
Because she is the additional person who was ousted of the group, kind of thing. So it's a group of sorority. You find this is a little bit more as the film kind of plays out, but basically the main woman who is, you have the guy who, there is a man who basically reads horoscopes. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head now what his exact, Swami, sorry, is the term.
Okay.
So a Swami is someone who believes they have a sight into the planets and the horoscopes and stuff like that at the time. And in their sorority, they all very much like believed in these thoughts, and they kind of followed this within their sorority. So they believe that when the Swami's telling them things, that this is the case. So they continued to follow this even if some of them didn't fully believe it for the whole time. Yeah. So that bit is the part that sounds quite far-fetched. But the part that's interesting about it is there's then, with the secretary of the Swami basically is the girl who was Eurasian, and she was basically for being not being allowed to cross the colour line. Yeah. Okay. Was ousted from the school, and the other women kind of played a part in that when they were in school. Yeah. Of that, and not being very accepting and not allowing them in, and this has led her to basically want revenge upon them. So she's used their love of the horoscopes basically to manipulate this Swami guy into basically sending letters. So when he's sending horoscopes to these people, she alters them in order to make them believe that they're going to die soon, in order to manipulate the ideas of what they may do. So you've got one, for instance, who is an acrobat with her sister, who were two of the girls in the sorority, and she manipulates to make her believe that she's going to fall, and when she decides to pull back when she's doing her acrobatic things, causes her sister to fall and die. Okay. So she's led to her death, kind of thing. Yeah. This is the part of the film that is I'll be honest, that there's the first part that very much plays a lot of this, and then the second part that goes a little bit into the investigation part, which I feel actually gets slower, in that classic film way. But these early parts are actually quite interesting, as in she writes to someone basically about, to say about her husband and stuff like that, and that she's going to commit something really bad, and that she's going to go to the police, but almost framing it as if her husband's going to do something to her, which causes her to get so, basically, this is all very quick, but you get the idea that basically she's manipulated her enough to make her believe that her husband's done something, that she ends up murdering her husband. Oh, fuck it. So you get a scene, and for a 1932 scene, you get a scene of where she slits his throat, but from behind the husband. So you don't see, but you see her slice the knife across his throat. Okay. So it's got, again, this is more of the time, but this manipulation part is the same as, a killer who's going after them and hunting them down one by one. So you start getting them killed one by one. You get one, that she basically, her child died, and there's even questions as to whether this woman has been doing this for years and actually killed, because later in the film she tries to kill someone else's child with poisoned sweets. And also a rubber ball that explodes. I'm not sure about that one. All they say was it was a rubber ball. He has some presents, and they're like that, and basically like apparently they then go, wait, what, rubber ball? You need to get rid of those presents. They throw the present outside the thing and it literally explodes in this massive explosion. It's like, whoa, okay. But yeah, so it has those parts where she manipulates her into taking her own life on the train and things like that. So it's those elements that I was like, you know what, this is actually quite an interesting, I actually really enjoyed it. As with a lot of the time, it depends how much you are able to watch these kind of films. It's still very different. I actually thought like the women character in this, like when they have conversations and stuff, though, actually felt quite natural, and like they all had a different personality and stuff like that, which again I've often found that a lot of these ones we've watched, the women characters sadly feel quite one-dimensional. And the fact that they're digging into a little bit of oddly that you've got some stuff about like how someone can be manipulated. I'm not saying that it's logical that someone takes it to this length that ends up happening, but what I do like is that idea here that you can plant something in someone's brain that they're going to die soon, and that leads them to the idea that they do something almost like, if you're told that you're going to die, it almost makes you like more overly cautious, that actually sometimes could lead to that manipulation. It is, and there are things about that in terms of psychology and stuff like that people have been manipulated by the idea of their death that has led to their death, kind of thing. So
it sounds interesting.
It is quite interesting, and as I said, it's only 59 minutes, so it's a short watch. So even for the slower parts, it's not really taking up a lot of your time to give it a little go. I find the first half of this film is stronger than the second half, but there is a lot of interesting elements, and as I said, there's a lot of bits that lead to like people dying, people jumping in front of trains, things like that. There's some more elements than when I read about it. I was like, oh, this is all going to be very off-screen and very... But luckily, some of it is shown, and the main actress who's playing it again, who I said, I believe we've got a white actress playing an interracial. That's where the kind of the racist and the idea that she is killing them. The one person of color is the person who's murdering these people is in part, but
and she's doing the voice.
Yeah, well, there is a bit of a voice there. There's a bit of an accent for that. It's not as I thought. The actress who did it, I think, is doing a good job for obviously the time. I actually surprisingly enjoyed it. It was something I just literally threw on today and thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. It's not short, and I decided that I would recommend this because it's an interesting little one. It's pretty much traced back as pretty much one of the first things of like a slasher, especially a female, focused female slasher film related to a sorority kind of thing. So it's an interesting little trip back in history as well for you if you are so inclined to go down that route. But that's my one. I did really enjoy it, actually.
I mean, it sounds pretty interesting, especially for a film from 1932.
I'm trying not to oversize it, but it is something where I looked at it and then I looked up whether it had been remade, because I was like, this seems really like it would work really well today.
Yeah.
Like as a remake, like this idea of, a sorority ousting someone again, even with the racial themes, that would work in certain, if you put it in the right context and things like that. And just this idea of this group of girls together, give it a bit more time to breathe and things like that. But having someone manipulating people into suicide as the slasher tool also sounds like a really interesting way. Yeah. Whether it's a horror or a thriller or things like that, I was surprised that there's many people online who, kind of a cult fan base of this film who very much think, how has this not been remade yet? And the long run of people remaking anything, no one's gone for this old one,
kind of surprising,
which probably doesn't even have the rights to it for most people. It's probably open to the public now. So we will make this one. We will dress as the 13 women.
We will,
so I'm not saying it will be way worse.
It'll be way worse.
We still got to decide who's playing the Eurasian woman.
Well, I assume that we're gonna we'll take turns.
Yeah. We'll do that. We'll do it like Lethal Weapon.
Like Lethal Weapon.
We'll just keep swapping. Yeah.
Keep swapping. Each time it gets worse and worse.
We can decide what colour we're going with.
We'll figure something. It'll come out in the wash. But I think that's it, man.
That is our one. Did you have any other ones you were thinking of, or was that kind of...
No, I did, but we are going to cover that film So I'll keep that.
We'll keep some of them a mystery. We've given away 2 that are in this season.
We have.
I don't think I really had that many. I looked through a few. Yeah, you said Black Christmas earlier. Obviously, that's a classic kind of thing. We've done that one.
We have
in the past, and there's many versions of that one, but the original one's the only really good one.
Yeah.
I almost went for my. This is when I went away and tried to go for my obvious, because my first thing that came into my head was like, I like Scream 2. That's a sorority college one.
Too,
and then I decided, no, I don't want to do Scream 2.
It's a bit too obvious.
It's a bit too there, and I think I put it on a list before somewhere, so I was like, I don't want to repeat myself. So I put on my big boy pants and went and found something that was. I went and researched
nobody else ever watched.
Yeah, so I went for something that probably no one's interested in.
Nobody's ever watched.
No one's watching. You probably won't be able to find a copy of it anywhere. Anyway,
no,
so might be on YouTube.
Just read the summary and imagine it.
Well, there's a book of it. There you go. Read the book.
Don't read.
Audio book.
Yes. Well, that is us kickstarting our slasher summer with some sorority recommendations, and we've got 4 fantastic sorority films coming up for you. It's going to be a great season, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. Double check you are, because I think about 50% of the people who listen to it and routinely come back aren't subscribers, so I'm not sure how that works.
Subscribe on all platforms.
Subscribe on all platforms.
Make sure you don't miss us.
Make sure you don't miss it.
Put on those notifications. We just piss you off every Monday.
Come and sit outside our house asking when the next episode's out every day. Become like Baby Reindeer. I rewatched it recently. Just follow me everywhere. Cyberstalk me. Threaten to kill me.
Never watched it.
Piss on me. It's great. Watch it. And come let us know your thoughts on the episode. You can find us on Twitter @CMDH Podcast. As always, play us out, fellas.